Hello student. In the previous class we have just learned about Excel formulas, and in this class we have just learned Excel cell references and Excel functions. So let's start. Cell references. The cell address that we use in Excel formulas are also called cell references. Example, we have just say A1. A1 is a example of cell references or cell address. A here is a column name and 1 here is a row number. Okay, there are three types of cell references in Excel: relative cell reference, absolute cell reference, and max cell reference. Relative cell reference. Student, you already know कि whenever we create our Excel formula we use cell address or cell reference. Okay, now relative cell reference means कि when you copy or move the formula to other cell, then the cell address automatically change with the concern to that column or that row. Is that clear? Now we just understand this concept with one example. In this example, I just add the values of A1 and A2 using the formula equals to A1 plus A2 in the cell address A3. After pressing enter, when I copy this formula to B3, then the formula is changed. It is equals to B1 plus B2. It is automatically changed due to column change. Row is same 3 but column is change B. So it is changed from one column to another column, so it is called the relative cell reference. Now we just calculate the relative cell reference. For that, here I just write the formulas equals to A1 plus A2 and press enter, then the answer is here 57. Now I just move to this cell and I just copy the formula, and here I have just paste the formula. Now you have, whenever we just double click on this, you have just see that here is a reference is B1 plus B2. Okay, here I just click A1 plus A2 and here I click a B1 plus B2. Okay, so this type of formula that is changed from one column to another column is called a relative cell reference. Now we just calculate the relative cell reference. For that, here I just write the formulas equals to A1 plus A2 and press enter, then the answer is here 57. Now I just move to this cell and I just copy the formula, and here I have just paste the formula. Now you have, whenever we just double click on this, you have just see that here is a reference is B1 plus B2. Okay, here I just click A1 plus A2 and here I click a B1 plus B2. Okay, so this type of formula that is changed from one column to another column is called a relative cell reference. Absolute cell reference. In this cell reference, whenever we copy or move the formula, the cell address is not changed. To make a cell reference as a absolute, we have just placed $sign before the column name and the row number. Let's do K example. In this example, we have just calculate the sum of the cell A1 and A2 in the cell A3. and I have just write the absolute cell reference. I have just placed the dollar sign before the A and before the 1 and before the 2. Okay, after pressing enter, when we copy this formula to B3, then you see that formula is not change, it is same as previous. Okay, we just learn about absolute cell reference. So here I write the formula using absolute cell reference equals to, afterward I just place the dollar symbol A, dollar symbol and 1, addition sign, again dollar symbol A, again dollar symbol 2. Okay, here we place the formula that is using the absolute cell reference. Press enter. Okay, here is the output. Now we have just copied the formula and here I just paste the formula. Okay, now we see what is the difference between formulas. Here is the same formula, here is also the same formula. These formulas are same because this absolute reference, cell reference is not changed when column is changed. Okay, mixed cell reference, it is a combination of relative and absolute cell reference. For example, we have just take the previous example. In this we have just calculate the addition of A1 and A2, and in this formula we have just write the A1 as a absolute cell reference and A2 as a relative cell reference. After pressing enter, when we copy the formula from A3 to B3, then the A1 is not changed because it is absolute, and A2 is automatically changed to B2 because it is a relative cell reference. And in this formula both cell references are used, so it is called a mixed cell reference. Okay with that? Now we calculate the relate mixed cell reference. For this I just place the dollar symbol and make the A1 as a absolute. After that addition sign and I just write A2. A2 is a relative cell reference and A1 is a absolute cell reference. Press enter. Now I just copy this formula from here to B3. Okay, now we see here A1 is not changed because it is absolute, B2 is changed because it is relative. Here A1 is not changed because it is absolute and A2 is changed because it is relative. And this formula is a combination of these both, so it is called a mixed cell reference. Excel functions. Students, functions are predefined formulas in Excel to perform complex and simple situations. Okay, and functions are also start with equals to sign, and you have already learned previously Excel formulas, in which we have just learned the range formulas. So, and we have just learned that in range formulas we use Excel functions. Here we study some common functions, sum, average, max, min and today. Okay, let's start. And here is a brief of all the functions. First we consider sum. It is used to find the sum or add of the given range. And how to write this function? Equals to sum, and in brackets we have just specified the range. You already know that in the range we have just specified the starting cell address and ending cell address. In between we have just placed the colon. So our range is A1 to A5. This means A1, A2, A3, A4 and A5. Okay, now we have just moved to the average function. It is used to calculate the average of a given range. After that, max function, it is used to calculate the largest number of the given range. Afterward, min function, it is used to calculate the smallest number of the given range. And afterward, last is today. Whenever you use this function, then it is always return the current date. Okay students, these are the examples of the functions. In first example, we calculate the sum of the range a1 to a5. In the second example, we calculate the max of the range c1 to c5. In the third example, we have calculated the average of the range b1 to b5. In the fourth example, we have just calculated the minimum of the range d1 to d5. Okay, and in the fifth, you have to just got the answers of all functions. Okay, a1 to a5 we have calculated the sum, then answer is 188. b1 to b5 we calculate the average and answer is 37.6. Average of the number is, you have to just add up all numbers and divide it by the count of number. Okay, in which we have just add all number and divided by 5 because the count of the number is 5. Afterward, c1 to c5 we calculate the max. Max means largest number or maximum number. In these 5 number, the maximum number is 46, so result is 46. Afterward, d1 to d5 we calculate the min, and min means minimum number or smallest number. In this range, the minimum number is 25. Okay, the answer is 25. And in this, we have just calculated the Excel function today. And in the example 6, the date of today is displayed. I have just created the video on the 30th of April, so date here is 30th of April 2020. Got it? We calculate sum function. Here I write the sum function equals to, sum is the name of the function, afterward bracket on, and I just write the range a1 colon a5. Range is selected. Now bracket is off and I just press enter. This is a answer of this because here I apply the sum function. Now here I apply the average function. I have just write the function name, afterward bracket on, and here I select the range. Range is selected. Now bracket is off, press enter. This is the average of b1 to b5. Here I write the function max equals to, max is the name of the function, bracket on, I select the range, bracket off and enter. Maximum number is 46. Here I write the min function for the minimum number. I just select the range and I just off the bracket and press enter. Minimum number is 25. Okay, now here I just calculate the today's date. For this I use the function today, bracket on, bracket off, and just press enter. Today's date is displayed, that is 30/04/2020. Okay, it is all about your functions.